In today's video, I'm going to show you my updated settings along with a new audio trick that will fix everything. This is for both PC and console, so make sure you test these out for yourself. I'm going to show you how to easily tweak the audio without any other software, and then we're going to drop right into a Rebirth lobby to test it. So getting into the audio first, we have the master gain volume set to 80. I think at 100, it's just way too overpowering. Going into the subcategory, I have dialogue volume set to 30. If you have enemy UAV screaming in your ear over and over again, it's not going to help you. There are valuable audio cues that you will get from the announcer, like resurgence is disabled or enemy flyover. So find the right setting, but likely needs to be much lower than 100. So it doesn't overpower critical sounds. Gameplay music I've turned off, and effects volume always at 100. I know that some people will reduce that, but I think that we want to keep that sound channel at its highest point. Enhanced headphone I have turned to off. My audio mix I have set to sucker punch. I think it has the most intensity for the frequencies that I'm about to show you. And then we are going to make mono audio off, mute game when minimized off, mute licensed music. None of that actually matters with what I want to show you today. Asymmetrical hearing compensation turned on, and then under the frequency channels, we're going to increase the frequencies that I think matter the most. Now, this is going to be personal preference based on your setup, but introducing this to console players and PC, I'm not using any third-party software to generate these sounds. In fact, I have Sonar turned down to flat right now because I don't trust the game profiles and like the Art of War tunes that we've used in the past. Loudness equalization's turned off. I just don't trust the game's ability to render the sound, and I don't trust other software to work on this. So you can use this independently in your game and then build the configuration based on the sound waves that are the most important. Most footstep audio is between 100 and 200 hertz, and then between 1000 and 4000. So what I've tried and experimented with in a private match is I tried turning up the first two frequencies to their max. I started with 10 on all of these and continued to incrementally up them in a private match and found that the highest frequencies is not detrimental to the soundscape of what I'm trying to create. And then the reverberations or the echoes of these footsteps that you're hearing coming down the hallway are usually peaking in audio software that I've used for recording. I was able to start seeing where the sounds were coming from, which are between the 1000 and 4000 frequencies, which is why I have these elevated. So I have 50 on the first two and 25 on the next three, and then I left the 6,000 through 10,000 to 0. I don't want to lower or lessen that. That's going to take care of some of those high shrills that you hear from score streaks, but you also want to be careful not to lower those too much because that is the same sound you hear when you're on tin roofs and also on ladders, the pinging of people walking up. There's a lot of sounds in the game that we don't want to delete. What we want to do is elevate the sounds that were more important. So try this for yourself. Go up in increments of 5. And if your headset has more bass boost in it, you may want to lower the 250 and 500 frequencies. But whatever you do in the left, make sure you go ahead and do it in the right as well so that it's matched. I did bump my sensitivity up over the last couple of weeks to 7 because I found that I still wasn't tracking people correctly during the high-speed maneuvers. But what I also did is I went over to my aiming tab, my sensitivity multiplier, and I lowered that from my normal 1.0 to 0.8. So this gives me the fluid movement to get back on target and then slows it down when I'm trying to make fine-tuned aims. So under the aim settings, we're still under the ADS sensitivity transition of instant, which is the way it should be. You need to automatically snap on there. Gradual is still very, very clunky and honestly not necessary. I think that in this version of Warzone, they should have just made a baseline instant across the board. Dynamic, at my response curve, I've also upped from 0.9 up to 1.0. I think that those gains versus reductions are what led to my personal benefit to aim, and testing my ability to get on target and stay on target. I think that it's more fluid. I find that there's a huge difference between 6 on this game and 6 on the previous game. I went back and looked at just overall footage, and I don't know if it's the movement or whatnot, but consider bumping your sensitivity up by 1. Make these changes so that it's still slower and you're able to control. Now, if you're on a 10-10, great, but make sure that you're able to stay on target and use this sensitivity multiplier to be in that range. Remember, the recommended right now, just throughout the community, is between a 6 and an 8. I normally play on a lower sense with a let's slow down, so we're gonna just evolve with the speed of the game, but give ourselves the control when we're still finding a ton of people that either have a sprint assist delay on, and that needs to be reduced to 0. What I have also experimented with is going back to tap to slide. It is great if you're not getting the movement through the hybrid thing. I still think you should learn it. The delay is still there. You can reduce the delay to short if you have on the tap to slide function, but it's still better on hybrid. And something to remember with the next update, for whatever reason, the last couple have been under combat settings. The sprint cancels reload has been on, and I'm still finding people in my games that are constantly saying, both on teammates and even enemies, that they're like, I can't reload my gun while running. This is probably on, so make sure that that's turned off. So now let's take these settings improvements and take them right into an actual high kill rebirth lobby with today's situational report about positioning. And positioning is important based on the sounds that we're hearing, so we know where to get into cover so that we can properly engage the enemy. Bio is one of those multi-level buildings that's very, very difficult to differentiate, and we are relying on the game to give us the right audio cues, and the impact of the bass from these footsteps helps us locate where people are at. That helps us make decisions so that we can properly get into cover so that we can engage likely multiple enemies at the same time. If we're not able to do that, we're going to get overrun and we're going to be in the wrong spot when we get pushed. So listening to those reverberations of footsteps as they come around the corner and up the steps is where we're going to be isolating those sounds to make better decisions to line up people that are pushing us. Same thing in this scenario here. We are listening for those fly-ins, trying to isolate multiple people, but we're not pushing out because we don't have intel other than the bounty that's on the radar. We get a fly-in and a drop down the ladder. He has no idea that we're inside, and then we're able to take him out. Rotating away from the kill so that we can reset our gun and our plates is still one of the best tips that I can give you about being ready for the next fight. Utilizing the radar so that we can see the pings after each thirst gives us the information that we need. Again, backing off of that, watching that last ping, we get a call out from the teammate that he's fallen off the backside because there's a precision airstrike on him. We've now reset the gunfight just by changing our position a little bit, relying on those audio cues to tell us where the next person is. Flying in, we're going to push him because he's a solo. He's trying to get away. Using the elevation of the building and the mini-map at the same time combines with those audio cues. Now, we are again alone. We know that there's multiple people. They're regaining on a buy station, so we're not pushing in directly, and we're going to take that first guy out, get the fresh pings on the radar, and we're going to take the elevation of this building so that we can see them as they scramble. They're fighting another team. I'm not opening my shots. I'm using self-control here. I want somebody to escape. Here's the escape route. We catch him as he's coming out the back door. Now we're managing our information still. We have more fly-ins. We're not leaving the safety of this roof line because we are alone in a quad game. There's too much going on with the streak. It's not a good push. I'm going to back off of that, and I need ammo. I found my crate, and I'm still deciding on whether or not I want to push that fight. I'm getting fresh pings from teammates on prison roof. It's probably time to back off. I'm still going to hold that position, though. I'm remembering the team that's down here, and I'm using the elevation correctly. Caught a guy in the open, looking for the other two on the far right. I catch shots from the correct angle, from the safety of cover, and we're holding them on their rotation. Now we know they have to come up the road. We get PA'd, Looking at the path of the minimap, we know that we're still safe over here on the right, which gives me the advantage to take out this player here, and then I can push down to look for the guy in the blue shirt. He saw my flyover, I'm getting position, and using the cover of the railing to take him out. Counting those enemies and keeping your position is absolutely critical, and getting ahead in this movement because people can swarm you extremely fast. I hear footsteps above, so I'm going to take the zip back up top to where my teammates are at, and I'm indicating that I hear them. Now, that's probably just them, but I don't trust that in this game in its current audio state. Now that we have all of us on the roof line, we're going to start to play our end game. I'm noting to my teammate that I already have something in slot. They can use that precision. We have a jailbreak here with multiple people below us and multiple people in zone. So we want to start to isolate those teams. They're flying back in on their loadout, and there's some that just went into the clinic on scaffold. We're going to keep that elevation right now as we continue to hold. Footstep audio low and shots from the left. We have an enemy down here on my teammate. So I'm going to use my gas mask, plate up, reset the gunfight from a different angle, and I'm going to get down here and help out. Go ahead and get his thirst. I'm going to use the stim to get up to zone, and I again have position above this terrible POI over here. Can't call in the precision airstreak, so I get down to better level. My teammates are over here on the right-hand side of industry. I want to bombard this final circle, but when I use that left, I'm moving right away from that. I'm going to grab my perks that I lost in the fight somewhere, and we get a massacre with that streak. Again, applying pressure, but not overcommitting from the wall. We are trying to hold them as best as possible. If I get shot here, I can fall back. We do get the zone pull, so there's no reason to push up past the security of cover. I'm going far left to avoid that precision airstreak, and I get a call out that he's on the buy. Switch to the secondary weapon, because it's faster than reloading, and take him out. Take the stim, move back to the truck, and now we have 3 fly-ins from his buyback. Resetting my plates and my gun. And now we have all teammates, all of the enemies are in the air. So I'm going to rotate back to zone to get that elevation on top of industry in case they fly into helipad. We see the streak where he falls down into. He's inside the building. The roof is controlled, so I move in to help control the bottom. And we are scrambling just to find those last couple kills. You guys like this kind of content? You want to be more prepared for ranked play coming up. I'm going to attach this video here so you can learn about positioning and how it's important in that gameplay. Again, guys, keep building, keep adapting. SitRep out.